And welcome to episode 242 of More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
And welcome to the new year of 2023. Yay. Come on, everybody, cheer for me. Give me the Kermit the Frog. Okay, nobody. Y'all are just...
What you get? Look, 2023, we'll see.
So, I got my ears on. You know, Mizzy was already on top of it before I could do anything.
Yeah, I'm not. I want to be comfortable tonight. It's warm. Sorry, Mizzy.
So, got the meow going. Welcome to the first episode of the new year. We are really happy to be here. Same new year, same shenanigans, of course. Captain Mizzy was
So I try different shenanigans.
So
maybe I'll rant less.
No.
Wow, that was quick. Jesus. Well.
That won't happen. Guys, let's go and get everything going. I want to thank Mies on Minis for hosting our files and getting it out to people. There's also quite a few other podcasts that are under the More Than Dice network that we help distribute. We have the Minority Report, which they do a lot of War Machine and Hordes type stuff. Really good guys. Really good friends of mine. Love them to death. And then we have the Tried and True podcast, which are based up in the New England area. Really good group of people. They're doing some really good stuff for War Machine and Hordes and for the community. And then the Boker podcast, which is Seth Cohen, which is a really good friend of mine. Love him to death. Does the Boker Brawl. He does a lot of good stuff. They have a lot of good things. So, just in case you get to hear a ton of stuff. Also, we have RPGs. We will have a new RPG coming out pretty soon. Probably in like a couple of weeks.
Maybe two.
I am running one, for a home-built world using 5th edition rules. And then, I don't know, John's got something new brewing too, so we'll have to wait and see.
No, that was just a belch.
Oh,
you mean role-playing game.
Oh, yeah. So, you'll be seeing a lot more stuff. Other than that, we want to thank Midnight Heroes. Pay attention to them if you like good chibi stuff, you like cool mech stuff. They are going to be doing some new projects pretty soon. He is going to be doing a Kickstarter, and as soon as he figures all that information, we, of course, will have him on the air so he can talk about the new Kickstarter he's got going. He told me something about it, but I don't know what I'm allowed to spill, so I'm not going to say anything. But we love him. He does some good work, and you can also get a good code if you like. We want to thank Parabellum War Games. They are awesome, and they do the good Conquest game. You can find them everywhere. Conquest is trying to break out and get to be better and hang out with everybody. They're pretty much at every major convention doing major tournaments, and they're just a great group of people.
And I see them in stores, so they're starting. Just need to get... I mean, as you know, like, COVID was tough, and we're just still building back steam from that.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, the games, if you like a good regiment game, I like the regimental version than the skirmish version, which I think is a great... They're still both good games, but I like a regiment game from them a lot. It's a lot of fun. It's pretty cool to work on. And, of course, the models are legit good. And then Turbo Dork. If you like good metallic paints and good color shifting paints, make sure you check them out because they have some really good stuff. And you'll be seeing them hitting more conventions soon because they are ramping up convention seasons and trying to figure out where to go.
And they've been really good on quality, and if you get something that's not good quality, of taking care of you. So.
Oh, yeah.
Happy to see that from a company. So many companies are doing... I mean, I understand it's hard. It's hard to keep up with that. Customer service is not cheap.
No.
You know, Asmodee went to the bullshit, their bullshit version where you have to go back to the store because they can't be arsed. But TurboDork's not like that at all. They're just going to take care of you, and I appreciate that from a company every time.
Very much so. So, other than that, guys, make sure that you hit that like and subscribe on everything so you can make sure you hear from us, know where you want to go, know what you want to see from us. Also, if you have any topics or discussions you want to talk about, hit us up. We have no problems. If there's a product you want us to look at, we'll look at it. If there's a game you want us to test out, we'll do it. Whether it's tabletop, miniature, role-playing...
Role-playing's a little harder. We can read it and comment, but getting a group together might be difficult for us
just
because we've got our own thing and it's hard enough.
But I mean, we can give a review or look at it
Oh
or
yeah.
whatever. And also, if you video games, I'm can pretty much get on any platform except for Xbox. So I've been trying to find a game to play lately, and just nothing's been really hitting me.
Hashtag PC Master Race.
I've been trying everything on PC too, PC
Hey,
only.
my new two new hires who are best friends actually got me a game on Steam because it's one they play
What?
called Phasmophobia. Not sure if I'm going to play it much. It's horror themed and it's about something about you attract ghosts by talking through the mic, and that
Yep.
means you don't need to talk through a mic. And if you all have met me, that's probably not going to happen.
Um, but I've been testing out and trying to find things to play. Been playing a bunch of games and see if I like them. I've been really dying for a good survival crafting world build, and I don't want to go to a PvP server or go to a server that's not my own because I don't want to deal with asshats. But I've been trying to figure out how to do
What?
like a Daisy, only friendly only server. But good luck with that. Or if someone has one, I can jump in. I'd like that because I like survival crafting world things, which are pretty fun. So I did play State of Decay. I haven't played State of Decay 2, so I don't know that. I tried Medieval Dynasty, and it was like, Nix, I haven't heard of that. I will put that on my list to look at. Not that I know of.
That's
Doesn't ring a
50%
bell.
off right now.
I'll have to look into it.
Procedural co-op space sandbox where players can build their own spaceships out of dynamically scalable blocks. And again, half price on Steam right now, which is pretty good.
Oh, yeah, I no. Nope.
12.50 is like I love Steam for this as an aside. I love like the discounts on things were just like, oh, fuck yeah. I mean, if it's when Legionnaires got me to get Banners of Ruin, it was like $11 with the DLC, and I'm like, sure. I got way more than $11 of enjoyment out of that, and I still
Yeah.
could play more. I haven't fully completed it.
Just been trying to find something, to occupy my time and whatever so I can keep busy.
Yeah, not Star Realms.
So just going to have to try to figure out where and what I'm going to do.
Yep.
Other than that, let's get to the really, really, really important question for the day. John, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking a Code Fireball.
Code Fireball.
That is Code Red and Mountain Dew Code Red and Fireball for anyone out there who didn't know.
I gonna drink just a little bit, not a lot. I brought out my Tawny Port, a 20-year Tawny Port. I'm gonna be drinking some of that. So
I'm sure Nick's just talking about mine. It's really good, Nixu. I'm not gonna lie. Really good.
So we're going with that. But we do have a few shout outs this week. We have, of course, the soccer legend Pele passed away this week. Or last week, I should say, not this week. And I remember he's the one that got me into soccer because I saw something that happened and I was like, oh, that sounds and looks like a really fun game. And I started playing soccer. And that's, kind of how I get it. He was a very good soccer player.
Yep. Yeah, he was. I'm not a big soccer guy, but even he penetrated that. Just
Yeah.
randomly. You knew who Pele was
Oh, yeah.
growing up.
You knew who Pele was.
Oh, Legion, we're not going to shout out one of those fuckers.
Yep. Barbara Walters passed away.
Barbara Walters passed away. She was iconic
Yes.
as an interviewer and all. Was one of the last great journalists, if you will.
Yeah. Growing up, you always heard of two names of journalism: Dan Rathers and Barbara Walters,
Yep.
and that was the thing. And so passed away. I mean, she was 93, so
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was
She had
like,
a long,
yeah.
long life, but
So-
it was sad to see her go.
Other than that, John, you got anybody else?
I will say, yeah. So Darren Watts, who most people won't heard of, who is in the role playing community, was a big Hero Games Champions guy, and was working with their spiritual successors. And I forget what the name of the company is now. They've changed company names at least once in there, but working with their new games, Prowlers and Paragons and all,
Oh,
and
yep.
he just passed away. He had a stroke a week or so ago, and passed away right before the new year. So sad to hear that. He's involved in games that I played for years. So
Yep. Guys, we appreciate everybody that listens and watches and so on and so forth. We appreciate you no matter what. Please make sure that you take care of yourself. People are getting sick. People are, everybody's been around each other for quite a bit. So please look after each other. If you see something, say something, and take care of yourself. Cheers.
cheers. I'll warn you, I made this a little extra strong because I was almost out of that bottle of Fireball, so I might get a little messed up.
Man, I love port.
Ooh, extra cinnamon and still good.
Man.
Maybe a little much cinnamon because the cinnamon's a little more overpowering. You don't taste as much of the
Code Red.
the Code Red, but still good.
All right. So let me go and switch the camera around. Look, there's one of my printers.
And most of what I see is your fucking hand.
Okay, so we'll get this back up. All right, so I am working on my miniatures, but we'll talk about lists real quick because I know that some people are wondering about my list. So there's two things in my list that I don't have that I ordered, and I didn't know that we could take these until I started digging into list building a bit more. One thing I'm going to take is a cavalry attack helicopter, which I think I really like. One, because it has a 20-inch movement. If it gets hit, it's fucking gone, but it'll be cool.
I mean, it's a helicopter.
Yeah.
In the age of mechs.
Yeah, correct. So before we get into this, list building is a little bit different with the Alpha 350. You're only allowed to take 8 battle mechs maximum, so you can't have like a full
2 lances, gotcha.
Yeah, 250. You can't have 350 points worth of mechs, and so you have to figure out other things to put in there, or you just buy really expensive shit. But the problem with that is, you build 350 points, but you can only take 200 points on the board. So you've got to be, a little bit careful and so on and so forth. Not a big deal. I think it's a cool system. You can do, some really neat things. So I had to have things to fill out because, I increased the gunnery skill on some of these to make them so they're able to hit a little bit easier. And some of the power ones. And some of these mechs I took because I love the mech. I don't give a shit whether they badass or not. So, of course, the next one is a rifleman, which I think is a really cool mech. It's got pretty decent shooting, can hit things. And, of course, one of my favorite mechs, King Crab.
Does it have the anti-air ability that it should have, or is that just not?
This version I wasn't able to get that. So, one of the things when you build a list is you have to choose whether you're doing inner sphere or clan, pretty much. And then you have to choose an era to play in, and I chose the clan invasion to play in because it's a little bit higher, tech.
I'm sure Nixie's going to ask you this, but they should actually be requiring an era. It shouldn't be, because in most Battletechs, and it may not be in Alpha Strike, things are not balanced between eras.
They tell you what areas you can choose from.
Okay.
But like,
you don't.
Once you go higher in the eras, the point cost of models are skyrocketing huge.
Okay, as long as it's balanced, I'm just saying.
Yeah, there is a balance in it. Like the higher you go in the timeline, the more expensive stuff gets. So you have to be careful. And Clan Invasion was like that middle. Plus, it's the time frame I know. Of course, like I said, King Crab, just because I think this thing is awesome looking and it's really cool. Plus, it hits like a brick and it has a lot of health. So it's a good
Yeah,
tool.
I mean, also, fair note. Nixie's going to be much more helpful. I don't know Alpha Strike as well. I know Battletech, a game of armored combat, better.
Yeah. The Trebuchet, because I like the Trebuchet. It's an ugly mech, but it has some pretty good abilities and can move because it's a 10-inch jump jet. It has 10-inch jumps. The Locust, which I really like. The Locust 3S, because it's super freaking fast. It's got a 16-inch movement and hits decent for, a mini mech. One of the things in this game is when you sprint, you move your speed times a half. So,
Mm-hmm.
16-inch movement is a lot compared to a lot of other things.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I couldn't go without playing my Warhammer because he's my favorite mech of all time. Just good. And actually, I dropped the weapon skill of those two guys down, so if I take them, they hit a bit easier. And they have a limit of how high and low you can drop the skills of them. Like you can't. Only two mechs can go to 2 or less, or to 2. That's the lowest you can go, and only so many mechs can go up to skill of 5 or skill of 7.
Nixon wants to know why you chose the King Crab 001.
Cost. It is very much a cost thing. I was running out of points. And it has a case and indirect fire 1. So I don't want anything exploding happening to a 58-point mech. And then a Phoenix Hawk because, 1, it's cool as shit looking, and it moves 12 inches. So an 18-inch move is pretty legit.
The Phoenix Hawk's good mech.
Yeah. And it moves pretty fast, and it's got decent health, and short-range hitting is very, very good with that one. And then the next one was a Wolverine, because the Wolverine has 2 type of movements, a 12-inch move and a 10-inch jump, which is really, really good.
It's funny that the Phoenix Hawk should have jump also.
Not this version. I didn't get the one that had, this one didn't have jump in it.
Which one did you have?
This one is the 2K.
2K. Oh, yeah, the Cretans. They took the jump jets off. Stupid guys.
And then I took a Shadow Hawk as my other one. My Shadow Hawk has an increased skill also on it. 1, because I think it's a cool mech, and 2, it's got a 12-inch move and a 10-inch jump.
Yep.
So it can, and it has a lot of cool abilities with it. I can't use some of the abilities. You can buy the mech without it. You just can't use it. Like the tag is one of the abilities you can't use. So when I was doing this, I was like, crap, I totally forgot that you could only have, 8 mechs. So I went back and had to go buy a few things, and I bought some attack helicopters. So I bought the cavalry attack helicopter. I don't know what all the rules are on it, but I just thought it would be really cool to have 20-inch movement skill for, 2 damage attack helicopter.
He's limited. He can choose an era, but he's limited to that era.
Correct.
Like they got a list of things eras he can choose. So.
But then I took a Yellow Jacket gunship because it has a good long range and can do searching and all this other stuff. I'm waiting for the attack helicopters to come in, which I printed bases for them. And then what else? And I got some rods to put in them so I can make them look like they're flying. But this is my basic on my list. It is 349 points. I may change it up a little bit because I didn't take any off the board artillery. So we'll have to wait and see. But
if anything, if you want to take that, I would drop. I mean, I know the King Crab's cool and all. I would drop the King Crab for it because it's obviously the slowest mech you've got.
It is, and the thing is one of the things that you know the scenarios, so you can kind of pre-build your 200-point list before you start playing. But this is, like I said, this is my test because I don't know if I really want. And like I said, the King Crab, it's a cool mech and it hits like a brick and can take a lot of damage, but it's going to be a target from hell. And it is kind of slow, and it is pretty slow compared to everything else.
Yeah. Yeah, having things that have similar speeds just so you can keep them together in a unit to support each other is always a good idea.
Yeah. So it's going to be just a little bit of a test. One, I have to see, what's going to work and what's not going to work. What looks like it's going to work. Type thing. And just play around with it. Because, they play on a weird board size. I can't remember what it is, but it's like 36 by 22 or I don't know. There's like it's not bad, but it's just different for the game. So I'll have to just test it out. I got a friend of mine like says we're going to get together Saturday and play our first games and do some stuff and test out and see how things are going. Other than that, but I mean, this is kind of the paint scheme I'm going with, which
So is
is
that I assume the tabletop is what they said they're playing on
the
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 event.
the event. Yes, the event
Okay, yeah,
sets what they're going to be playing on.
yeah, because they say generally 6x4.
Correct. It's a
Okay.
little bit different on this one.
Yeah, I'm sure tournaments. I mean, obviously, having at a convention has its own limitations.
Correct. So the thing that I was going to do
You should have
is
Alpha Strike cards out of your packs for most of those guys too.
correct, except for some of them don't have
The version
that
you want.
version. Yeah, the version I want. So I just use there's a good there's a good list builder that prints out the things like that, which are really good because all I'm going to do is print off enough for the tournament and laminate type thing, so I can wipe off and do whatever.
Yeah, Nixie wants to know more about your area limitations.
Let me give you a link. I'm gonna put a link in the chat. Um, give me 1 second. I will give you the link to. This is one of the rules sets for one of the tournaments. That's a rule set for one of the Alpha Strike tournaments. Not all of them follow that rule set. Um, I'm waiting on one event to post their rule sets to see what I'm allowed to play. Because if it's the same thing, pretty much, maybe just different point value, even cooler. If not, I don't know. I have to wait and see.
So the biggest question I have paint-wise is how are you gonna paint up some of the barrels?
I think I'm just going to do straight metal.
Okay.
And then
Mostly like the
do a
king
wash
crab.
them.
I'm looking at because it's got the big barrel up there of the right side. Looks like
Yeah, this
no,
barrel right
the
here.
big one up top.
Yeah.
That one's barely noticeable. If you didn't paint that, I'd barely notice in there. But that one's very prominent from an upper view.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take anything that's like a weapon or, going to shoot a barrel. I'm going to paint it this shining silver and then probably null oil or, armor wash it down. So it'll be, it'll have some textures and stuff. But I wanted it to be kind of I wanted it to stand out. The metal to stand out. That way it gives some texture and everything to, or give some contrast to it.
So, Nixie, why do you strongly urge him to move to the Civil War era? I mean, I understand a little bit about the technology differences, but I'm curious what part in Alpha Strike would make you want to do that. Because he doesn't know.
I have no clue.
And honestly, I mean, I stopped playing before the Civil War era, but I am familiar with the differences because it was sort of like just on the edge of that. Because for people who don't know, there's several errors to Battletech.
Oh, a shit ton.
I mean, that's. Oh, so you're thinking he might feel fine. I mean, obviously, all the mechs he chose were in the clan invasion
Correct.
timeline. So he doesn't need to worry about Civil War. If he's got all his mechs he's looking for, it's all good.
I mean, there was quite a few mechs I couldn't use due to, error timeline. I'll look at it. I'm not set on it. I'm just like, these were the mechs that I was like okay with.
That you wanted to play.
Although I have quite a few that I could still,
I mean, I'd suggest a better Phoenix Hawk than the one you took, but, hey, it is what it is.
Well, it also comes down to point values, too, that we have to look at.
Well, yeah, but I was just one with actual jump jets because that gives you another faster scouter, so you've got a little more scouting available because he's get the jump, and that's a heck of a thing. It's a heck of some mobility. That silver's super bright. You might regret that.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm gonna let it set for a minute, and then I'm gonna probably wash it down and see.
Yeah, I usually go darker then highlight and then wash. But
Yeah. Hold on. Where's my null oil?
I mean, you're getting a lot of the classics here. I think the funny thing is you really only have two of what I would call actual BattleTech designs. The rest are either Macross designs or Fang of the Sun Dugram designs. And yes, I'm being a super nerd on this, guys. Don't judge me. Actually, judge me. I don't care. Because BattleTech, when it started off, literally the first box set, all of their mechs designs were licensed. I don't want to say stolen. They were legitimately licensed from various animes. Generally, two animes. Well, three technically if you count the Locust, but. And then after that, they started getting their own designs. Now, granted, they've gone through redesigns, like the Warhammer Riflemen and Phoenix Hawks are all Macross designs that have been updated enough so they're now distinctly different as far as the Court of Law is considered than the Wolverine and the Shadowhawk are Fang of the Sun Dugram that are now distinctly different enough that you can call them different. And then I forget the one Locust is from another one, but it's been changed enough. I actually have the Dugram armor right here that looks like the Shadowhawk because I'm a nerd.
You're a nerd.
Yes. But it's super cool. It's one of my favorite. It was one of my favorite designs. He says the King Crab is a bit of a mistake because it's got an XL on it. And yeah, I don't know what that means necessarily in Alpha Strike, but generally speaking, an XL is a detriment to a mech that big because it takes away some of its durability. Fewer structure points. There you go. But well, I've already told him, Nick, that I think that the King Crab is the obvious outlier in this group. I think he'd do better with another solid heavy that's faster, can keep up with his force better, and do what he needs.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want indirect, look at probably don't have a Crusader easily. What else would do indirect? Archer.
I do have a longbow.
Yeah, but I do an archer because longbows are ugly.
I think they're cool.
I mean, they're based off the worst looking Macross mech. Good job. I like the archer better.
I do have an archer. I have two archers.
But again, I'm not super on make those barrels look like Donkey Kong barrels. There you go. Now I'm in for the memes. I'm in for the memes. Honestly, I'm a big fan. Always been a big fan of the Orion. It's a great jack of all trades. I don't know what it looks like. I mean, I say this. I could find out. I have cards and shit over there that I could look at. But, I could turn on a light and just start doing it. But so what else did you learn about BattleTech? You said you learned some other stuff about BattleTech too.
Well, I didn't know about using the aerospace stuff. Not aerospace. You can't use aerospace. You can in certain. Okay, let me take it back. In certain formats, you can use the aerospace, but for the most time, you can only use, certain things. So I can't use like jets and other things of that nature. But using the this thing's clogged. That's gonna cause a problem. I could use whatchamacallit, helicopters and troops and battle armor. And I was like, I don't know anything about that stuff because I don't know that shit.
Oh, he does. Nixie brings up a good point. He says you should discard the long range bracket for damage entirely because of the table size, and that actually makes sense. They're playing on a much smaller table.
Yeah, it says what the table size is on in that packet.
Yeah, so you might want to look at that. So you may not need to worry about the long range support. You'd want something better medium range.
Yeah, most of my stuff is medium range stuff.
Okay.
Some of it is long range, so.
Yeah, but like I said, with that table size, you might want to look at that and make sure nothing's too skewed to long range.
Yeah. I don't think anything's that skewed for a long range only.
I would even not take anything that's highest numbers long range. If it's equal long mid, sure, but
Yeah.
building into IF also is also a mistake.
Didn't build into that. Just have it there. Okay.
I'm looking at some of their scenarios and stuff. I like that they remember one of my big things is no scenarios. They actually have a fair number of scenarios in the basic book, which is cool. Also, I think there's a bunch of scenarios in the excuse me, in like the Battle for Tukiad book. So Nick, so I think this is probably good stuff to bring up after he plays the game, gets a game under his belt, and then he can start figuring out, okay, yeah, that didn't work the way I wanted it to, and that kind of thing. So
Yeah, and that's the thing is I wanted to get because I mean I'm not sold on everything. There's some of them that I want because I think they're cool mechs, but not sold on it. And I think I like the darker metal a little bit more.
yeah, I'm gonna say I think there's only one glaring error in your mech choices that I would have to deal with.
Which one's that one?
You didn't bring a Marauder.
That was one I was going to substitute in if the crab didn't go.
And I bet money Legionnaires was thinking I was going to say, dude, you didn't bring a Thug. To be fair, you also didn't bring a Thug.
What's a thug?
Thug is it's our current meme. It's basically it's a Star League era mech that is basically two PPCs and and two SRM6s. It's solid. It's a solid assault mech. It's reasonably fast for its size. You know, average speed overall, but fast for its size. Got good armor. It's got good heat sinks and good punch.
Now remember, Alpha Strike doesn't deal with a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff still is the same though. Like you could say there's new with that stuff, but a mech is still the mech. A locust is still a locust. You say it's a locust 3S. I can go take a quick look, see what that one is, and give you an idea. Know an idea what it's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
I think the 3S, if I remember correctly, is the missile one with short range missiles. So it's going to have a lot of firepower for its size. It would be a little fragile.
Yeah, this one has.
You're not here though, because if only I had the ability to find out which one was which. Let's see. Locust 3S. Oh, look. 3S. Endo Steel, Ferrofibrous, and SRM 2s are upgraded to Streak 2s. Yep.
Are you looking at the Alpha Strike version of it?
I'm looking at what it is. Again, a mech is a mech, regardless of which game thing you do. I can tell you, and I've already seen what Nixu said it is, but I can tell you that it is going to be short range and have solid firepower for its size.
Yeah.
And he is right. It's 220, so no long range makes sense. 2 and 2 makes sense because it's got streak 2s and medium lasers. Again, mechs are mechs.
Yeah, that's the reason why I chose the 3S because it can get behind. If it gets behind, it does 1 extra point of damage from behind, and 3 damage from in the rear is pretty good.
Sure. I'm just curious inherently of which one you said the 001. Okay, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think as funny as this, I think the king crab you have might be the wrong version. Because it does hit like a brick, but it's made for longer range because it's meant to stand off against clan mechs. So you'd probably be better with the classic version with the double AC-20s rather than the double Gauss rifles because it's still going to hit like a tank, but it's going to hit like a truck. It's going to hit like a truck at close range rather than at longer range, which you may not need.
This king crab hits at 4s all across the board.
Okay, that's solid, huh?
Yeah, it hits at 4s all across the board.
Yeah, it's because it's got good weapons. It's got two Gauss rifles, large pulse, two streak twos, and an alarm launcher. Still, it's solid. Pretty bracket, but cool. And this is sort of the fun, everyone who's not in the Battletech of Battletech, is that again, I don't know the game he's playing particularly, but a mech is a mech is a mech. If you know what the weapons are, you know what they can do in a generic standpoint. I can look and go, okay, it's got Gauss rifles and LRM, a large pulse laser, streak twos. It's got solid firepower at all the brackets. And then Nixie just shared a list of. Ooh, I'm not gonna go there, Nixu. It's giving me an error. Its certificate is not current, and I'll pass for the moment. They need to get that fixed. I gonna say Gonzo, maybe silver for the case of the rocket launcher is not the best choice. I think it'd look better in black. No, it's not that, Nixu. It's that they don't have their security certificate online accurate. So, yeah. So you need to be careful with that. I'm not going to go right now. I'd take a look at it first.
Yeah, black may be better.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like the interior silver would be cool, but I think the edge around as black would be more interesting.
Yeah, I could always paint it black. That's the good thing about black.
Mm-hmm.
Black covers everything.
I mean, usually. I did have one silver back in the day that black was like, nope, nopey, nope, can't cover that. I forget which one it was. Probably one of the armory ones way back in the day.
Way back in the day. But it was interesting because there's two Alpha Strike tournaments I want to play at Adepticon. One is using this BTT CC tournament thing, and they haven't put up the rules, even though like Adepticon or LVO is doing it, but I don't know if it's the same rules or not, which probably is.
You can get an idea.
Yeah. And list building, of course, list building, this is different than I'm used to.
Nick, so he hasn't looked at a faction yet. He put it in black and red because he likes black and red.
Yep. And based off of John's little suggestion that he told me.
Yes, maybe we play Calhounds, but
yeah. But other than that, I don't know what I want to do for the base. I think I might just do a brown, but I want to put like vegetation there. But you got to be careful with the vegetation because size matters.
I mean, vegetation comes in all sizes.
Correct, but I don't know if I have the right size vegetation, if you know what I'm saying.
But again, Z scale for trains, you just go in and go, I need Z scale vegetation. And guess what they're going to have for you? Z scale vegetation. So you'll be fine. Just go ask for the right thing. It'll be all good.
First, I have to find where to go get that now because we have no stores that do that now.
There's a wondrous thing invented
called the internet.
Yeah, you heard of it?
Once in my lifetime.
Yeah, I figured maybe.
But yeah, I mean, this is the kind of what I'm going with. I don't know if I'm gonna test it out. I think I agree with you. I think the king crab is my crutch, best way to put it. But I want to test it out and see if I like it. I mean, he is one of my favorite mechs of all time.
So that is a good point. Is it just by era, or are they limiting you by your faction choice as well for what you can choose?
You'll have to look at the instructions on how to build stuff because there is faction and all that stuff too.
Apparently, you wish me to read rules.
Read the fucking manual.
Yeah, I'm not going to the fucking tournament.
So, but I mean,
I would have thought you would have, because he's a good important. If you can't run all your mechs together because they weren't built they weren't in use by that faction, then you will need to actually change it.
I can use all of these
Uh,
because they have a master building list thing that you can use.
yes, but oh, okay. Yeah, look at there are four generic lists available: the Innisphere General, the Periphery General, Innisphere Clan General, and your Homeworld Clan General. Faction tabs. Yeah, so I imagine you chose the faction tab when you were choosing the.
Inner sphere.
Okay.
Because I like the
Yeah.
inner
So
sphere.
yeah, that's it's important, but yeah, I don't think he's actually caring about faction right now, Nixu. He isn't like we joke Hellhounds because that's the color scheme, but it really doesn't matter what color you paint your mechs.
Yeah, there's. You don't have to paint them.
And again, if someone at the event goes, but you painted them like X, you can't use Snake Intersphere rules. Please tell them to go fuck themselves.
This is
Because,
my own faction.
yep,
Gonzo's Regulators.
Gonzo's regulators. There you go. They're general interspheroids and general hemorrhoids.
And they do what they want.
Yeah.
But at Adepticon, or at the start of Adepticon, the new Kickstarter is kicking off, which is going to have vehicles. They're going to start doing vehicles.
I mean, yes.
Plastic vehicles.
I had to remember you were telling our listeners, not me, because fuck, I know.
Yeah.
Um, I'm on Patreon for one of the guys who's the art designer. So, like, I've already seen most of the things that are coming in there.
Yeah. The tanks I'm really looking forward to because I think they're going to be kind of cool.
Yeah, Anthony Scroggins does a lot of work on that, and he will post quite frequently of what's coming out. I think I've actually seen all the mechs that are coming out. Also, yeah, all of them. That's true. They have a bunch of alternate Urbies coming out too, which are going to be interesting to take a look at.
Going to be a lot of interesting things. But I guess the Kickstarter is starting at Adepticon. The first day of Adepticon is when the Kickstarter is going to
Well, they already have
kick off.
pictures of some of the tanks and all. And
Oh,
they're
yeah.
looking good. They're looking good.
Yeah. And they're being done in plastic, so even cooler.
Hmm. I mean, literally, I like most of their mechs. Every once in a while, they put a mech out, and I'm like, but a lot of them are really good. The tanks especially look good because they have the right feel for them. They have good lines for some quick and dirty. If you want to use, hold on, if you want to slap chop them. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, I also really like the way they redesigning things. A lot of the redesigns look amazing. He better not play Word of Blake Nixu. I'll have words with him then. They won't be good words.
Well, won't play what?
Word of Blake.
What? Why not?
Did you want to play the most religious zealoty assholes in the entirety of the inner sphere? The guys who make the clans look like reasonable human beings.
I did play Minoth for a while.
Yeah, I don't know Menoth would use nukes the way the Word of Blake does.
I don't know them.
Yeah,
Don't know that story.
I mean, there's a lot of lore for BattleTech.
Oh yeah.
It's out there, and actually, if people want to get in there, I just said to you earlier uh, this week. Check out Tex Talks BattleTech and the Black Pants Legion on YouTube. You will get some good stuff. He's got a couple more generic ones when he's not doing individual mech reviews or God, mech lores. I don't want to say reviews because he very rarely truly judges the mech. He tends to be a little lenient on the mechs. But yeah, the American Civil War ones were great, and then the beginning of the clans. That's great, great background. Tex does great work on that, and like if like Anza, you're going to have to listen at some point. Luckily, I'm sure you'll have time at work.
Oh yeah.
But those ones are like 2 hours long, but they're in depth. And don't like discount some of his older stuff, even though it's not as thorough when you're starting off. But they're still amusing.
Yeah, that was one thing we were talking. A couple of people were talking about. So, for people that know, my work has decided to do a social group, and there's a social group that says they wanted to get into miniature gaming, and I'm like, okay. Of course, I'm like one of the heads of the social group, and so I'm like trying to figure out things that we can do, and I'm like, well, quick, easy, and cheap. Just for saying, miniature gaming. Well, Battletech is one what we can do. So,
And Legion, there's a king crab with ECM that we need to get in MechWarrior Online because I need my giant missile magnet to have a fucking ECM, so I don't attract as many missiles. Yeah, his video on the Charger was brilliant. It's a mech that would have been super easy to judge harshly, but he did not. Oh, there you go. Nixie's going to be singing the praises of the King Crab 000 over the 001 because 2 point cheaper and better defensive stats.
woot! I did something.
You did. You're painting stuff. About time.
Watch
Or
it.
something. Hey.
Which we haven't really talked about. We've been doing a lot of BattleTech talk, but we didn't talk about hobbying for the new year. Guys, don't set unrealistic goals for your hobbying. Just hobby.
Actually, don't unless you really want something to challenge yourself. Don't set a goal. Just fucking hobby.
Yeah, just have a fun painting your stuff. Now, I mean, if you have things like, of course, I'm going to Adepticon, so all my stuff has to be fully painted for Adepticon. Well, okay, I get that. You got to get that shit done.
Yeah, but don't set a goal that makes you hobby to the point where you no longer enjoy it.
Correct.
I don't know, Nixie. Those stat differences are a heck of a difference. 444 is a lot better than 331, even though we won't be needing the one so much. But yeah, don't get goals. Like Legion said, like the Legion 23 hobby is to challenge you for something that you don't use as much as you should. So he would challenge me to use my airbrush that's just still sitting in the box. So I might take that challenge.
Yeah.
Sure, it would help things go faster. It means I'd have to hobby a different spot. But honestly, my new I can't use my headset with my new magnifier because the way it works doesn't really fit either way. I do that, but then it doesn't really fit over the ears so well with it. So,
But I mean,
I have to
if you're
take off my headset anyway. So, have I had to go to another room to do the airbrush? It's not like a big deal.
But I mean, I see some people setting these hobby goals. I'm like, if you're going to set one, set a realistic one. Set something that's obtainable without you, freaking
these are
out.
goals, not challenges.
Yeah.
Like a challenge should be difficult. A goal should be attainable.
Correct.
Those are the difference between a challenge and a goal. Like in a sports ball analogy, teams challenge themselves to get to the Super Bowl. But let's be honest, not every team has their goal of the Super Bowl because it's not realistic for every team. Some teams are just like, we are fucking terrible this year. We're going to try and just do our best and win whatever. Maybe not the best analogy, but that's sort of the way you got to go. Example, when me and Legion and all, we are on MechWarrior Online, we're playing in the World Championships, for Christ's sakes. We're not expecting to get to the finals. We're not expecting to get to the quarterfinals. We're just going to try and do our best and maybe do better than last year. That's all we want, and have a good time while doing it.
Yeah. And that's what I keep on seeing with people. I mean, some
Yeah.
people's like, I want to paint, 200 miniatures before the end of the year, and I'm like, really?
I mean, I could paint 200 miniatures in a year. I'm just not sure I'd like painting afterwards. Or I mean, also I don't play the armies, the games that have armies like that anymore.
Yeah. If you're playing
I mean,
in,
honestly, no. If I would this if I painted slap choppy or with contrast paints mostly like Gonzo's doing with these, sure I could paint a lot more models than I do, but that's not my way.
yeah. Although I do think the Mech Warrior, the Battletech models are really good for
Yeah,
uh,
they've good lines for it.
the good lines for contrast paints and
Like
such.
contrast paints and washes, you can get a long way. I just most of my schemes want more than that, and that's fine. You got to paint models that you like, not that someone else likes.
Although I do need to, once I get all the metal painted and then washed and everything, I gotta go back and I'm gonna paint. Of course, the glass, the cockpits. You want to say?
So let me know when you do so. I'll get you Bishop Steiner's um, pictures on what is actually the cockpit and what is not. Because apparently it's not everything you think it is all the time. And he went through like he on a whim he started a couple and then ended up going through all of them.
Yeah. Well, luckily the glass looks like it's supposed to on this. I should say, on most of these models, you can tell.
You think you can, but again, you can't always. And then honestly, again, they're your models. If you wish to paint it as glass, it can be fucking glass.
Yeah.
But officially, they're not always the same.
Correct. All right, so I got metal on everything I wanted to be painted metal, and I'll go back.
So here's
and,
also a good note. Like honestly, the point Gonzo's at now, all of these mechs are 3 colors.
yep, I have to base them.
Yeah,
So
he could base them and then
I mean, they have a
job's a
base,
good.
and I can technically let these go and be done.
I do suggest the GW or others technical paints, the basing paints for this stuff because it is very good.
Well, I've got sand on there right now, and I just got to repaint the sand a little bit.
Oh, you can put that stuff on top of sand. That's the best part.
Yeah,
If you decide you want to go more.
yeah. I'm going to try to find some vegetation that will fit. I do have some old green fluff, I guess best way to put it, for like bushes that I could put on there. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, also just look up again Z scale.
Yeah, I mean I got plenty of time. But then of course I want to put like things that have lights on them. Like the inside of this Warhammer, this little part right here, I want to do like a little bit of green and a blue, just to add a little bit more to it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That way it looks a little bit better. Got a little bit more texture.
And just do what you want.
It's my model. I can do what I want.
Honestly, I do like the way they paint up. They paint up pretty easy.
Oh yeah.
There's the opportunity to do more if you've got the skill and the desire.
Yeah, you can do camouflage patterns or whatever you want. I mean, there's so much you could do. It's not even funny. I mean, pretty much if I were to do this, I would put brown on the base, dry brush the base, and then do the cockpit windows and be done. And you're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to let that slide. I'm going to move over. Come back to the camera. Woo. All my models. Raise it up a bit.
Yeah, so again, Nick, so I'll say bring that up again after he plays his game, and maybe he'll have some context, and maybe you will be able to convince him. I'll try and read the rules too to help you a little bit with some of that, but we'll see. I've got other stuff I
Let me
need
see.
to read.
Or the King Crab 001. Yeah, and I like I said, I got to get the I got the book, the Alpha Strike book, and so I'm waiting to see what all the special rules are, um, and see what all the cards do. You know, all the special rules in the cards, because that'll dictate. Because like I said, I only have 1 point left. The only thing I could do is drop the pilot skill down, and that gives me 10 extra points, so I'd have 11 points to play with. So it's very, like I said, it's very finicky. You've got to be careful. Because then also, like I said, you may have 350 points, but you're only allowed to use 200 of it. And so you got to be careful of it when you
Yeah,
build
it'll have some options.
Yeah. So, like the Locust and the helicopters are great for, point fillers. I mean, the Crab is 50 some odd points, so that's, can be a big issue.
Yeah.
I would rather have more mechs than one big mech.
Well, but limited to 8. Like, the rules are really weird to me.
They're different. It was really weird because I got with my friend of mine and we both looked at it, and then we went to the place where you have to build lists, which is the masterunitlist.info, and got everything ready, and it was building through it and make sure I got everything. But like I said, it's different. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just different.
I mean, it seems like it might be needlessly complicated.
So, and the other one is a little bit different. I'm not sure, but have to wait and see. But I could, drop some points and take some off-board artillery support because those can be pretty cheap. But you can only use off-board artillery once, so. That's also another thing you have to look at.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I agree, Nick. If not, I could see people taking like shit ton of,
Yeah, but
speed 16.
But the making 350 points and then only playing 200 of any time is a needlessly complicated rule. Instead, make balanced scenarios. People have to take balanced lists and can't just skew one way or the other.
Yeah.
Make them take some balance in their lists. Rant time. Said I wasn't going to rant, lying. The two-list format that sort of Privateer Press started and a lot of other games have gone to is actually a fucking detriment to people playing games properly. What it allows is it allows people to skew their list one way or the other and sort of find that stupid fucking, this is super balanced and super great this way, and this just covers my one shitty matchup if I can see it. And it has led to the fucking, list chicken we used to play, and it is bad. You want people to have to build balanced lists. Here's my balanced list. I can play whatever. Maybe sometimes someone's going to come with something specific. In the scenario, he's going to get an advantage. Yeah, but in another scenario, he's going to get his fucking ass whooped. And that's sort of the thing. I mean, it's like bringing a fucking LRM mech or an ATM mech or something to fucking MechWarrior Online match. Sometimes the lights show up on me and I'm like, oh, I'm dead. That's my fault. I'm not going to get angry. Shit happens. But and you'll find if you made balanced scenarios, people would bring more balanced lists, and you wouldn't let them get away with this bullshit.
And I personally like more combined arms and balanced lists to begin with, type thing. I mean, I came from where we could only bring one list, and then bringing two, I was like, okay, cool. But the armies are built like that, and I was like, okay, so this list is built for this.
It was interesting, and originally, it's interesting in certain games. Like, certain games predicate themselves around it, and that's fine. Malifaux, Marvel Crisis Protocol, both are built around maybe having a limited selection of model, maybe a not so limited selection of models, and then deciding as you get more information what you're bringing. So it's one of those things. I'm not a fan of it. I think it has actually hurt gaming more than it has helped in every case. But honestly, I could say that about Privateer Press on the whole overall.
But so, I guess really what I want to do is I'm going to paint these models up, get them going, test them out, see if they function, because I don't know if they function or not. I mean, play a scenario, and then tweak it based on that. I think I agree with you. My king crab is my, Achilles heel, for the simple fact that it is a large
Very
point
expensive.
sink, and I could have other things in the list, but there's only so many models I can take.
Now, if like the king crab and two other things perfectly equal that 100 points you may not be able to play, sure,
Correct.
I can see it because you're like, hey, this is a chunk. It leads you to building. You're not building a list. You're building different chunks of a list. And again, I'm not a fan of it. I think this could be solved better by actually having good scenarios and making people play balanced. But is what it is.
But my overall rule for this entire thing is just go play games, shoot each other up, have a good time type thing. But I
Yep.
am going to make sure that, my stuff isn't completely fucking broken type thing. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And
Absolutely.
I'll do that, because I'll definitely take and build up pre-build 200 point lists because that's what, is there. You pre-build 200 point chunks and go, okay, well this scenario goes for getting to the other side faster. Well, I'm definitely not going to take the king crab.
So also at a local tournament, you can do different scenarios than you can do at a big event. At a big event, someone might try something new like that. They're less likely to come in without having to meet the locals at a local event. So I think at a scenario at a big boy tournament at a big tournament at a thing, if it's not like a championship or some type, if it's just like, hey, come play Alpha Strike tournament, you need more generic rules because you might get the idle. You might get the fucking casual. If you get the casual at the store, it's likely a local of the store. So, the rules are easier to deal with because he will have talked with the rest of the locals to figure out what to do. So, is what it is. That's my mini rant on that shit. Not like it's a minor problem, but it is still like from gaming, it's a problem. I don't feel bad, Nick. So I'm still a mod on a couple Facebook groups that are War Machine related.
Let's go ahead. We're in the media section, guys. It is our media section. For people who don't know, we do have a rating scale. We have 2 rating scales. Whether the media that we have is equal, if it is closer to Casablanca or Cats. Cats being the worst, of course. Casablanca being one of the best. And then we have our space herpes rating. The fewer space herpes, the better, of course. For people who
Because
don't
no
know,
one wants space herpes.
nobody wants space herpes. If you really want to know what space herpes are, just go watch the Ice Pirates movies from 1980 something, and just prepare yourself.
Ironically, not a 5 space herpes movie.
Yeah, but just be prepared. I
3
was
or
actually
4.
talking
Oh, let me
to
read that again.
I was talking to a friend of mine at work, and we were talking about movies, about how things change as we're going on, and I was like, yeah, and we got on the topic of Ice Pirates, and I was like, you could not make that movie again. I mean, it would be.
But why did you make it black?
Yeah,
Because I wanted it to be
It'd be
perfect.
um.
There's a lot of movies you can't. You could not make fucking Blazing Saddles.
Oh no, you could
At
make a
all.
lot of stuff.
No.
Could not be one of the
Captain
worst.
Mizzy, if that's the worst hour and a half of your life in movies, you need to watch more shitty movies because that's not even 5 space herpes.
Yeah,
May not even be 4. Might be like 3.5.
yeah.
It's at least 3.5 though.
So, let's go ahead and, of course, I have 50 billion of them. I did watch some stuff that was pretty.
I'm going to talk about random things. Don't worry about that. I'm going to talk
Okay.
about random thing for everything you talk about. Don't worry.
Okay. My first one is, so I was watching, of course, the Great British Baking Show, and they had some actors on there. And you know me, I love my Great British Baking Show. And they had these actors on there, and they were from a show called It's a Sin. And I was like, ooh, what's this show? And it is a British show based in the late 80s, early 90s about the AIDS epidemic that happened. Yeah, you can already,
Cheerful.
yeah,
Wholesome.
you're like, fuck Gonzo, why did you have to like kill yourself in the first time of your holiday
Well,
break?
right. Let's just follow it up with some fucking light shit like Chernobyl.
Yes. Which, talking to Chernobyl, the people that did Chernobyl are doing The Last of Us, so you know it's going to be a fucked up show.
No. Respect.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, it was, yeah.
Chernobyl may be the best series I watched last year.
Yeah.
Probably is.
But it is an emotional wreck. What it is, it's a story of a group of friends during the late 80s, early 90s in Europe about the AIDS epidemic. And holy fuck. All right, I'm going to say this. I lived this. I was there during this. I know this. I felt this. And the actors, no problem with the actors. The acting was great. It was on key. It was great. I loved every one of the characters. Some of the stuff, it just makes me just adore them and everything they do. But it is a fucking depressing series because it is. You're sitting there and you're watching this and you're like, oh, AIDS. We have to lock this person in a cell and not let them have contact with anybody because we don't know what this is, and treat them like they have the plague and everything. And it was just, I mean, people dying, characters that you cared for. It's sad beyond belief. But
I mean, come on, they wouldn't let Magic Johnson on the fucking basketball court because they thought people would catch AIDS from him.
oh yeah, I mean
It was a fucking thing.
and I'm watching it and I'm like, I bawled my eyes out the last episode. It was horrible. It was, but it was a thing of, it was done so well. They're not doing it anymore. They're like, the story's over. We did what we did. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it at all. What I did find interesting is when it originally first came out that STD testing and condom usage shot through the roof when it first came out because people were like,
Good.
fuck. Okay.
The only positives that come from something quite that negative, because I mean, like, it's stuff that needs to get out there. But man, for those who lived this, it is not something I would watch. I would
No.
choose something uplifting, like the third episode of Chernobyl, if you remember that one in particular.
But I mean, it was very, very sad, but very good. Let me just say this: it is a very sad subject, very scary subject, but such a great cast, such great acting, great follow through, and a lot of people just don't understand how people were treated back then when this started happening. And I have a friend of mine. She watched it from work, and she's a young 20-year-old, and she's like, "That fucking happened," and I'm like, "Yes, that's how people were treated." And they were like, "Holy fuck!"
Yeah, it was bad.
It was bad. I highly recommend it from a standpoint, but it is a very sad show.
Yeah, be aware that it's depressing AF.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell.
Yeah, but it is very, very good. And like I said, the characters were amazing. The writing was amazing. It was great. I loved it. And like I said, I did bawl my eyes out at the very end because it's just,
I mean, sometimes you do.
Yep. John, what you got?
Hey, so I only watched one movie in the past 2 weeks.
All right, what was that?
I didn't watch any series, but I watched a bunch of YouTube and all also, so I'll talk about some of that stuff too.
Okay.
The movie I watched was The Mummy.
Which
with
one?
Brendan Fraser.
Okay. Fix and say.
This just in. The movie's still fucking awesome.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Like, the biggest shame was we did not get more of those movies because they're just fun action. Like, yes. It is very much in the vein of the Indiana Jones. If you've never seen them, it is just fun. Like, good character development, actual fucking good guys. I mean, you get Brendan Fraser's character, Rick, who, Benny's betrayed him multiple times, killed lots of people. At the end, he's still trying to fucking save his life because he's a fucking good guy. Like, it's just good to see. Like, the humor is, like, once in a great while, the humor is a little sideways. But not so much with the first one, the second and third, but diminishing qualities. But it's just great fun. We need more movies like that.
usually I will watch that almost every single time it comes on that I
Yeah.
see it because I'm just like, fucking hey, yeah, hell yes, this movie's great.
I mean, if you look at those things, you get the Indiana Jones movies, you get the Mummy and the Mummy, the three Mummy movies. Um, to a lesser extent, when you were younger, you would think that way about the old King Solomon's Mines movies. But having rewatched the first one recently, the quality is just not there. But like National Treasure 1, I haven't seen the second one yet. I know it's weird. I just never got a chance to see the second one. Same sort of fun. And then apparently the National Treasure TV show is a little YA, but it's a little fun like that too. So, but
I
the
am
Mummy,
currently watching that, by the way.
okay, the Mummy is fucking. It's great. It is zero space herpes.
I agree with you.
I mean, as far as modern movies go, if I were to remake it, I'd be like, don't remake it. Just show the fucking original again.
Yeah. Just show it again.
The Batman. Nixu, yeah, we have seen the Batman. The Batman was.
You didn't like it as much. I liked it more than you.
So I'm going to say this, though. Since, even though I saw Spider-Man No Way Home this year, it was from last year. We discussed that. Sorry. It was from 2021. I saw it in 2022. The Batman might just be the best superhero movie of 2022. I mean, it may be better than Doctor Strange just because Doctor Strange is fine. It was fine. It was a good movie. It was enjoyable. The Batman is probably better quality, but less enjoyable, less fun. So, there you go. It was, no, I mean, Doctor Strange is better than Eye Candy. There was some good stuff in it. But the Batman's just a little too pretentious. The Riddler's scheme is fucking stupid. You could rewrite it where it would seem more interesting. Like, I don't hate his scheme. It's just way too overblown for that type of character. You know, I feel like he's got a Joker style thing where it's just like, well, I just blew up the fucking retaining walls. Fuck you. Because I'm the Joker. You know? And I said it was Guns when we reviewed it, and I'll say it here. I feel like if he hadn't killed the mayor earlier, and the mayor had won the re-election against the lady who was running against him, and that was him instigating his people shooting him because the mayor is corrupt. I wish to kill him, not this new mayor he doesn't fucking know anything about. That was the part that lost it. If it was that, he was like his plan B, like, oh, I've got a plan. Oh, he won? Look at this shit. Then he'd be like, I see it. I got you there. Cool. Yeah, his masterstroke was trash, but it's still a good movie. The Batmobile scenes are fucking dope. Dope. The best Batmobile they've shown. Like, sure, the original Batmobile scenes in, like, the Keaton Batman were, like, iconic, but this is great quality. Pattinson wasn't very intimidating as Batman, but that's a minor thing to give away because the Batman costume's intimidating. The actors were all good, though.
Yep.
You know, Pattinson played the character he was given very well. What's her name as Catwoman was great. Obviously, Gordon was great. We didn't get enough Alfred. And fucking... what's his name as the Penguin?
Colin Firth?
Forgetting... Colin Farrell.
Yeah, Colin Farrell, not Firth. But...
As the Penguin is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, people bitch like, that's not really detective work. No, it was good detective work. It's movie detective work. It's not like real detective work. Enjoyed it. It was a good movie. Very well may be the best superhero movie of last year. That being said, I haven't seen Wakanda Forever, but it was good. I'm looking forward to seeing a second one come out. And there's our old movie review from last year. That being said, also, no matter what Twitter says, it is not the best movie of last year. I want to see Everything Everywhere All at Once, which may change my opinion, but fucking Top Gun Maverick was the best movie of last year. I'm sorry. Not as good as Pocahontas in Space. Can't quite match that based on all the reviews I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick, so if you liked the first Top Gun, it is just such a good... Haven't seen Glass Onion. It would be difficult to challenge Top Gun Maverick because it just hit fucking all the... Did you see Glass Onion?
I did see Glass Onion.
Oh, no spoilers.
No spoilers.
It's on
So,
my list.
okay, well, here, let's go with this. I saw Bullet Train on Netflix. I enjoyed the shit out of it. It was a good, fun movie. I mean, you
Bullet
know
Train
what
was
you're
fun.
looking for. You know what you're getting into. You're not
People
getting
bitch
into
about it,
something.
but I'm like, what are you bitching about? This is just a fun movie.
Yeah,
It's that faux Quentin Tarantino style, but a little more, way more fun than he is.
correct. It was more. It wasn't as serious, and that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, not as serious, but
It was-
enjoyable.
Yeah,
Like,
highly
you know,
fun.
when I went to go, it was like $3.99 to rent or $5.99 to buy. I'm like, fuck, I'm just buying it because my buddy said I'm probably gonna watch it twice. And yes, well worth it. Yeah, Nick. So we can. I gone on this rant before. We can't judge everything on the best. It's like when a fantasy movie comes out, where like fantasy thing comes out, like, well, it's not Lord of the Rings. Well, no fucking shit.
Nobody. If you get to Lord of the Rings status, okay.
Yeah.
But if you don't, but you still make a good movie, I am more than happy about that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be everything doesn't have to be Lord of the Rings. Everything doesn't have to be the best ever.
Correct.
Sometimes you just go in going like, haha, that was fun.
But I enjoyed the shit out of it. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Like maybe one space herpy of that, but it wasn't
I
anything
can see
worth.
1.5. A lot of people are going to
Yeah.
find it 1.5, but it's still certainly enjoyable, certainly worth it. If it's on streaming now for free.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Legionnaires Beastmaster was fun. It's a saving grace of that movie.
I did see Glass Onion. No spoilers, but it was damn good fun. Very good. I'm not going to say anything that might spoil or going to be a spoil, but I highly recommend it, especially if you liked all the other if you like Knives Out. Daniel Craig is amazing in this again. Highly recommend it. Good fun. Go watch it.
It's on my list.
I laughed in quite a few parts and was like, yeah, that's really, really good. Very solid movie.
Yeah.
I would give it probably like one space harpy, but that's kind of pushing it.
Okay.
What do you got?
So I watched a lot of two things, or I watched a new thing on one channel, which we talked about before, which I'll go now, is the Black Pants Legion Tex Talks Battletech. He just released the Charger video on Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
And first off, I like to say it. His stuff's gone from being these 15, 20-minute long videos that are fun and good to hour-long things with great soundtracks that he's getting. Even if some of it's just royalty-free music and all that, but well done. Great artwork from the community. And he fucking just puts it all. Like, he's got a Patreon to help cover the bills and all that. But he's not here to make money. It was fucking all for charity, and he's made $15,000 with this video for fucking St. Jude's. Like,
Kick-ass.
amazing, great, and it's a great quality. Like, super good. If you guys are interested in the backstory of Battletech, or you just want a hoot, some of them you just need to have the basic idea of Battletech. You can watch some of the videos and go like, "Ha, that was a hoot." But, I mean, and he's really fair to things. And he goes up on tangents. He's allowed to at this point. Like, I don't want to say Tex is quite bulletproof, but man, he does great stuff. He doesn't care about any of that bullshit. He just wants to put out good videos for charity and just give back to the fucking community. You always watch in jokes. Like, his whole channel is full of a lot of that. If you watch the Battletech related stuff, he's got a couple of videos he did of MWO streams that are fucking hilarious. Fireteam Whiskey is fucking great. It's him and his guys. They do a bunch of them playing video games together as a group that are good. It's just a good channel to watch. Sometimes you just want to watch people being silly playing a video game. But he's got a great voice for it. I mean, like Nixu said, it's fucking gravel and whiskey. Great voice for it. It's top notch. His stuff is always zero space herpes.
I'm going to go over a couple of things just kind of quick. I watched Dog, which is a Channing Tatum movie about him having to deliver a military police dog. It's okay. It's good background noise. Just, whatever.
I mean, I love Channing Tatum nowadays because he just gives his all to every role.
Yeah. There wasn't anything wrong with the show. It's just, it's my meh rating of 3.5, or 2.5. Not bad, not great, but, not too bad.
It sounds, I mean, it was one of those movies that's like, yeah, nah.
I did take a recommendation because I saw a lot of recommendations for this TV series called White Lotus. That's on HBO Max. It is a show about rich people that go to the White Lotus Hotel and like something detrimental or bad happens. People die, and it's there's no reoccurring characters, even though like there could be a recurring character, but not reoccurring cast type thing. So and they go to different areas. And I watched season 1 and season 2. I don't see why everybody's all like this is like the next coming of whatever. It was okay, but I could take it or leave it. Didn't care for it too much. It was just okay, and really, I'm kind of tired of seeing rich, spoiled people in TV shows.
Yeah, I mean, we can have those idiots running Twitter. I mean, what? uh,
Correct. But
I mean, shit.
I do want to talk about something that I did watch, and I fell in love with that I want to go in, and that is the new Matilda on Netflix. It is a musical. I
Fucking, like, I saw a clip. Fucking quality.
This was fucking great. I mean, okay, don't get me wrong. I love Matilda anyway. I mean, doll stuff is great. It's very trippy, very unique stories and such. The original movie was great. But this one, I was like, oh man, a musical? Is it going to be? Oh man. But I watched it, and I love the shit out of this. It was hilarious.
I love fucking musicals. I'm going to say here. Musicals. I fucking love them.
It had great acting, great characters. It kept to the book better than the original movie. It was just fucking amazing. The music, there were a couple of songs I was just kind of about, but I downloaded the soundtrack and played that and listened to that like 3 times in one day. It's great. And these kids did an amazing job.
Remember we said about fucking Willow?
Yeah.
Is the music in it helps just because, I mean, people forget that they discount music in something. Where the music in something can definitely
make a break.
The scene. And even just putting pop songs in. Look at what fucking James Gunn did with fucking Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, yeah.
We know those songs. Those songs are iconic for that. You can do that, and I think it's a lost art.
Yeah. I mean, and musicals are hard. Good musicals are hard to come by nowadays.
Yeah.
You find...
Yeah, cats. Fucking cats. Fucking cats.
But, I mean, it was done so well. The actress that plays Matilda was great. Her voice was great. She acted amazing. The song she did, the composition of how everything was put together, everything was just, I mean, this thing was just superb. Of course, I love the story of Matilda, and I was kind of meh on musical when I first heard about it. I was like, crap. But it's based on a lot of the songs that were, in the Broadway play. But I mean, it was really, really good. I mean, I still sing some of I'll be walking and the tune will just stick into my head. And I'm like, fuck. Now I'm going to have this stuck in my head. But it's good sticking.
Do you know what made me realize I do like musicals more than I thought? 2 things. First off, the fact that I like the soundtrack to the fucking South Park movie more than the South Park movie. And the second thing was when Joss Whedon did Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog.
Yep.
Fucking, like, musicals are good. I mean, you have to make them solidly, but...
Correct.
Like, I'm a big music in things, and musicals can be great.
I mean, it was done very well. The characters, the sets, everything was amazing. And you look at this, and you're like, fuck, their parents were shitty. Her parents were shitty. And, the headmistress, she was shitty. But I'll tell you, you root for the kids, and you jump for joy, and when the songs come on, you're like... and you're just getting into it and all this other stuff, and you're just like, I enjoyed the shit out of it. I highly recommend it. It gets 0 space herbies from me. I mean, it was just unbelievably awesome. I love the shit out of it. I've watched it twice, and I own the soundtrack because it's just good show. It's just good movie. And like this,
my list.
Your list of double watches is very short.
I mean, mostly movies. I was going to say, there's a movie that I've only seen once that I need to watch again because I'm watching a lot of clips on YouTube because they started a channel of related to that, and that's Zulu. I need to rewatch Zulu because that fucking movie's great.
Yeah. But I mean, I highly recommend it, especially if you like musicals and you like kid
Yeah.
stuff and everything. This is just good, solid, and I mean, it's a good story to begin with. Doll's stories are always been solid to begin with, so highly recommend it. Love it, love it, love it.
The other one I've been watching is it's a channel called the Operations Room on YouTube where they do breakdowns of battles. And they've gone into a lot more series. They used to do just one-offs here or there, but they've re-upped and they're doing a lot of series. They got older stuff where you see the actual battle the Top Gun was based off of, stuff like that in the past. But they did a series on Iwo Jima, which is interesting because I mean I knew about Iwo Jima. I know the iconic shot. I know it was fucking a meat grinder, but it's cool to see what happened there if you're interested in military history at all. And then they just did another series on the Battle of the Bulge, the whole Battle of the Bulge, not just the part that our protagonists and Band of Brothers had to deal with, the whole thing, and very much enjoy the detail they put into that. Also, because they do a lot more of what actually happened, not necessarily the Band of Brothers slightly mistaken and maybe romanticized slash exaggerated version. For example, they just did the part where they covered Easy Company going and taking the village of Foy at the end of the Battle of the Bulge, and in the series they really kind of disrespect Lieutenant Dyke, and in this he makes sure it's clear that you understand that this was just a man who had a fucking bad day. He'd been on the line for so long, he'd been fucking stuck there with his troops for so long, he just had a fucking bad day, and he was actually a really good soldier and a solid leader. And I love that they gave the solid military with the context, because you'll see something like Band of Brothers where it's like 99% true, but that fucking 1% can sometimes be super skewed. But I suggest checking out the Operations Room if you like military history at all. They also have a sister channel called the Intel Report where they do like background stuff based on whatever they're talking about. It's just fun if you're interested in that military history thing, which, I mean, being that I am a white male in my late 40s, World War II, or some super expensive hobby I can't afford above top of my other hobbies. It's like mandated by law, right, Gonzo? You get to choose.
Yeah, what I think someone said some of the choices was like Revolutionary War, World War II.
Funny enough, through high school, through my 20s, I was actually much more of a Civil War buff. But that's a much different story. But yeah, I definitely suggest that. And also, like, guys, check out remember, there's a bunch of shit on YouTube. If you don't watch it a lot, just be careful not fall down the YouTube rabbit hole. I fall down the YouTube rabbit hole a lot. There's a million movies I've seen, like, a bunch of clips from. But it's also good. If you go and you go, like, this is the only part of that movie I want to see, cool. Now you know you never need to purchase that movie in any format because you just want to see that clip. There's a lot of movies that are just clip movies. That's fine. But it's good to know that. And there's movies, like I see a clip from The Batman, as we were talking about it, and while I'm cool with the clip, I'm often like, I should watch the whole movie. That's a good sign. But something like Doctor Strange, I'm like, I see a clip, I'm like, cool, that's what I wanted to see. So it's good to note. Spoiler, anything done by Zack Snyder is a clip movie. You just want to watch the clip and go on with your fucking life.
I did watch the new Witcher, and I'm going to give it a pass.
Okay.
The Blood Origins was not good.
Now, let me ask you, because I've heard a couple other opinions of varying things. And one person said that they thought it was okay, but they really think you're going to use the other two episodes they cut out of it.
It gets my 2.5 man rating that it's...
Do you think the two episodes would have helped it, though?
I don't know.
Okay. That's fair. I mean, it's a fair review.
I don't know. I mean, it's very cut and paste, chop, put together type thing. And it kind of just pushes me. I'm like, there was no need for this. I was expecting to be good. I was hoping it was going to be good. Yeah. Yeah. But she can't save some things.
I will point out is Malaysian, not Chinese. Things I didn't know until late last year.
Yeah. But, I mean, if you got some spare time and you got something in the background, sure. Or, you just want to watch something, fine.
But you're telling me I should finish season 1 and 2 before I watch that at the very least.
Oh yeah, yeah. Season 1 and 2, and I wouldn't even care about it, about the other part. I mean, it's.
So you're saying with my limited time to watch TV series, I should not even think about
Oh
it?
no, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, with your limited time, you got better things to watch anyway.
Fair enough.
I am still watching Willow. I
Yep,
think the last
I'm an
episode was.
episode behind.
I think the last episode was one of their best episodes, by the way.
Okay, cool. So I did 2 in a row the week before because I was behind one,
Mm-hmm.
and the one where they meet the Reavers or whatever they call them. Fucking, I enjoyed the crap out of that.
Yeah.
I enjoy where it's going. Like we say, it's a little YA, but I mean, sure, but it's not like it's bad. It's not
No.
like teenager YA. It's like, hey, I'm almost 50. 20-somethings look like YAs to me.
Yeah. I am watching the National Treasure TV series. That's not,
Yeah.
It's not bad. You see where everything's coming though. It's not nearly as good, of course, the first movie.
Davion started fucking Jack Ryan. It was like, I just need to finish this episode. I'm like, not in front of me, fucker. Watch this. I didn't know you liked this. Motherfucker, I read tons of his books. Yeah, get the fuck out of here, dude.
I need to start that. That's on my list.
Yeah, so I'll be watching that. I'm shooting to finish that by the end of January, though. I want to keep up on other things. We got Star Wars stuff coming back, even though I still haven't finished Andor. Not entirely sure I'm gonna. Not that it's an insult to Andor. It is very high quality. But much like a lot of things, I don't think it is actually good Star Wars. I think it is good science fiction. I think it is good quality. I just don't think it is good Star Wars. I think it's a little too far afield. I think they skewed too far. Like, someone heard me ranting about too many Space Wizards and went, well, how about fucking this? And I'm like, that's a little too far from Space Wizards. I might. I mean, it's only a couple more episodes. We'll see. It's a kind of down series, and I don't want down. Like, life sucks enough. The world's in fucking shambles enough. I don't need to be seeing fucking down things.
Yeah.
And that's something I recommend to everyone as my final rant for the first episode of the new year. Know what you want to see. Don't watch depressing stuff. Don't listen to depressing music if you're not in that mood.
Correct.
It will exasperate that and make things bad. Don't do that. If you're feeling down, watch something up. Get your comfort food as far as get your comfort music, get your comfort TV show. Watch yourself some Firefly if that's your cup of tea. If you love fucking Deep Space Nine, watch your Deep Space Nine. Whatever it is, watch it. Be careful of your own emotional status when you're watching stuff.
Correct. And that's the reason why I said, while It's a Sin is an amazing TV series, and I love all the characters, it is a very depressing story, especially in the later episodes when people are dying, because it's the AIDS epidemic.
It's about Chernobyl. Like, you can watch it. Don't ever fucking try and fucking binge that shit. And be careful of your emotional state. I mean, it's important. Like, we joke about it, and there's a lot of toxic masculinity about men don't blah, blah. No, fuck that.
Yeah.
Worry about your emotional state. All the times I'll sit here and be like, I don't want to watch this thing. I'm going to watch this other thing instead. Because The Mummy, I want joy. I want the good guys to win, the bad guys to lose, and I want to be happy, so I will fucking watch that. It's called fucking fantasy. Yeah. It's escapism. I want that sometimes.
Yeah. Just be careful of what you're watching. Some of this stuff, like it says, could be...
Don't force yourself to watch something that you're not in the mood for, because you'll get the wrong opinion of it.
Yeah. Like I said...
Hey, so much for no rants.
Oh, I knew you were going to. Come on. That's how it always is.
All right, next time, have a good night. We're actually just about done ourselves.
Yep. We are going to be out of here. Guys, we appreciate you coming and listening and watching and doing everything. We appreciate you whether you're here with us live or you're... on somewhere else. But
if
please
listen to us through, any of the networks, any of your, if you listen to us as a podcast format, appreciate you as well. Pop into Facebook sometimes, say hi to us.
Yep.
Give us your thoughts. We'd like to hear that.
But please be careful out there. Please watch after yourself. Please watch after your friend. Check on everybody, because even when you don't even think that someone needs someone to talk to, you'll be surprised.
Yep.
John
Sometimes that random person on Twitter just needs you to say some kind words, and it may help.
Correct. So, guys, we're going to send you off to the Pyro Club, but...
Pyro Club. They'll be on break.
They probably will be, knowing them. please take care of yourself. Please watch after each other. Please keep your health in mind, and we will see you at the next convention or next weekend. From Will and Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
Good night. Hit that raid button.
Raid. New year, same jokes.
Yep. Oh,